Hey everybody, it's Dr. Kim, and I wanted to answer some questions that came up on the Facebook Live, the Mind Body TV episode this week. I completed it, and then after I got off, I saw these questions, and I was like, oh, these are really rich. Let me just make a quick video to share further insight into some of these around embracing and surrendering, and how do I let go to life and let go to the universe when I'm afraid that my agenda won't get met, or that I'll be disappointed, or that I won't have what I need. So one of the questions that came up was around that, like, what if life doesn't give me what I want? What if I surrender, but what life had in store is something not as great as what I was striving for and what I was going for? Specifically, someone said there's disappointment, the fear of being disappointed for trusting life and not having it come true. And this really spoke to my heart because I used to live in that space a lot. So one thing is to really be willing to feel that disappointment. Like, where have I held disappointment that's not complete, that I'm still like, ooh, I don't want to feel that, so I'm protecting. I don't want to be disappointed again, so I'm just, let me manage my life on my own, thank you very much, instead of really opening to this higher power within myself. So the thing to remember is this higher power is not outside us. It's not like someone looking down saying, here's what you really need to have, even though you want it this way, this is what you're going to get. So if you surrender to life, like, it's not going to go well. It's just fear. Fear is always false evidence appearing real. Where am I living in this limited concept of life and of self that has me think, I need to hang on, I need to be in charge, I need to take hold, or it won't really be what's best for me. This part of us, this higher self or the universe or whatever you want to call it, is a higher aspect of ourselves. It's our deepest wisdom that knows what really would be most fulfilling for me, what really would be the highest benefit to allow my most expansive life. So sometimes things don't, quote unquote, come true or look the way I think they need to look. And then I think, oh, life really is letting me down. Not realizing there's something so much bigger in store. We get not always what we want because we really get what we need. And sometimes we're in such a limited perspective, we don't know what that is. And I've had that happen so many times where life had something way more expansive for me, but moving into that invitation felt like a big disappointment or a big letdown and brought up a lot of fear. Can I surrender anyway and let go of this like tension and fight or flight, and I've got to make it on my own, or I've got to make it happen, and the struggle that keeps us in illness and keeps us in lack and limitation, so I can surrender to let something higher in. The other question that came up was, how do I allow it? What does surrendering look like? And I know for me, it was so much around connecting with that serenity within me that was my highest version of health, that was my highest version of a relationship, that was my highest version of like every aspect of my life. And what's the serenity of that? So what would that feel like? What would that, what's that emanation? What does that feel like cellularly? And then what it looks like could be anything. Could be like, hey, right now I'm going to take a nap instead of going for a run. Hey, right now I'm going to eat, a turkey sandwich with regular bread because I know that's what's really in my fluidity right now, as opposed to the restriction, the rigidity of, no, I can't eat gluten, I can't eat that, I have to do this, and being in that fight. So sometimes it looks like the opposite of what we think brings health, but it will always feel fluid and resilient and self-honoring. I did have someone a few months back say, oh, well, if life's just going to take care of me, then I'm not going to check my blood sugar anymore, and like, so be it. That is not self-honoring. It's like, what do I require and what's the best way to take care of myself in this space of love, in this space of nurturance, instead of taking care of myself from a space of fear, tension, and struggle. So it's not so much like, oh, here's what it always looks like, and you're just in stillness, meditating on the couch. It will look different moment to moment, but it will always feel aligned with resilience, aligned with self-honoring, aligned with a deeper space of generosity to the self. And then Heather had mentioned, my body doesn't believe that it's better, but I have this knowing that I already am. And I loved that because that was so much what happened for me in the, years back with this huge autoimmune illness and all these different complex layers where it resolved just within like a week. there was this knowing, there was this inner alignment, there was this inner space of, oh, there's something bigger that I've stepped into, that I've allowed, and I've released that old struggle and all the things I bought into about it. But my body didn't like instantaneously in that same moment experience the physical expression of that. Like it didn't take months and weeks and years. It took days, but it didn't, for me, happen instantaneously. Not that it can't, but I had to keep practicing into it and being willing to hold that space of certainty, even when it wasn't showing up in my body yet, even when my body was like, I'm still really tired, or there's still all this pain. But what happens to us is we start buying back into the external. We buy into, but I'm still in pain, so I must be doing it wrong. Or I'm still in pain, so I can't surrender. I really do need to stay in my own control. Let ourselves move into that resilience of what we know. Like, what if it could be that easy? What if it could be that fluid? And I could receive what I need, and then let the body follow, and then let our lives follow. That was a huge thing the participants from the Embracing Health program brought up, was like, whoa, I am totally in the knowing of this alignment, and that everything is, my physical form is realigning, my illness is releasing, my symptoms are releasing, everything is coming into alignment with this new space I've found inside. And even some of them said, like, even though it's not all completely resolved yet, I already have seen enough to know that this is being reflected from this new space that I've aligned with in me. And that was pretty much universal that all of the participants shared. I have a great audio. If those of you who are interested in the Embracing Health program and working with me live, I will be mailing that out, I think, next week to, you can kind of hear what the participants shared after they completed the program. What was it like for them? What had been their concerns going into a program like this? That's all about like experiencing that fear more fully and experiencing ourselves more fully instead of protecting and avoiding, and what it opened up for them and why they would very strongly recommend this to others. So I'll be sharing that with you. But that was one of the main things everyone expressed, was like, oh, there's so much more coming than I ever anticipated. That's a reflection of this inner alignment I have connected with. And that's like everything. So give the body sometimes a chance to begin to reflect where you're at and hold that space of certainty unconditionally. Not conditionally, where if things don't go as expected, you're like, oh, life really doesn't have my back. I really do need to control. It really isn't okay. And you go back into the pattern. So I hope this has been helpful, because I know it kind of contradicts a lot of what we're taught in the mind around fight disease and hold on and control. And, you know, if you're not experiencing some anxiety, your goals aren't high enough. You need to keep going forward. Who wants to live like that? That is not your natural state. It does not need to be like that for you in order to receive amazing, beautiful gifts of life, of health, of abundance in your life. So this is Dr. Kim D'Eramo from drkimd.com. Certainly share this with those that you love, and you can subscribe to stay tuned in. I will include the link for the Embracing Health program. We've had a lot of great questions about that. I am sending out some messages with answers to those questions, and I'll also be holding a live call on the 20th. I'll send out the details for that, but you can click to subscribe, click to register for that call so you can be there. If you have questions about the Embracing Health program, if you have questions about this approach and like, how does this really open up more to me? I'm still too scared. I'm still uncertain. I'm still really in these old conclusions that I have to control my health. I welcome you to that live call, and I'll be assisting you in moving forward there and answering questions about the Embracing Health program. Sharing love with you, and I'll see you soon.